Hi, Scorpio. This is Kajora Lovely with your general reading for the month of October 2019. I would like to say happy birthday to those of you who are celebrating this month. Later this month, I'm going to be offering a Scorpio tarot reading that you can book for yourself for your season. It'll include some questions that are geared towards your sign, that are things that you can keep in mind for right now and also for the months to come. You can also ask people to book it for you. I accept payment through Venmo, so it's really not that difficult for anyone to pay for it if you want someone to give it for you for a birthday present or cross watchers. Something to keep in mind. Once that link goes live, I'll post it in the description box. Otherwise, you can, it'll be on my website, kajoralovely.com under blog, the lovely blog. You can also follow me on Instagram if you want to make sure you see it as soon as it comes out, because I usually post things to Instagram right away. Anyway, let's get into your general reading for the month of October 2019. For those of you who are curious, I'm reading with the Modern Spellcasters Tarot this month. So we're going to go over your general energy and then something for you to keep in mind. Okay. So where you are going into this month is Seven of Swords in reverse. So usually this card is about the energy of someone or an influence or maybe even politics, where you're dealing with someone who is lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating. That energy is coming to an end. However, it manifests in your life. A lot of the time when this card comes up, most people, it's a specific person or an energy that they're dealing with. So take that however it applies to you, but that is coming to an end. Whatever is right there. So what's influencing you as well is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Usually this is about like kind of student energy, starting something new, learning something new. Pentacles relate to homework and money, so it's often something beginning in that. So it could be starting a new business or something like along those lines. But there's a delay for whatever reason. So it could also relate to home. Whatever it is that you're trying to begin or build or start for whatever reason is not moving quite as quickly as you might like. Also, what's influencing you is the Three of Wands in reverse. So this is usually, there's a delay on communication and action and forward momentum of some sort. The Three of Wands upright is normally about moving through a new chapter, like through a portal or a doorway that you're making plans and now things are moving forward. But for some reason, there's a delay. It looks like there's a delay on just about everything right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But I would say if it feels more where you're like, what the heck? It's not you. I wouldn't take it personally. Because if it's showing up in a reading, that means it's overall energy that's going on. And right now you're in your personal winter before your birthday. If you think of your birthday as your kind of new year, and I think it's 52 days before your birthday, is your personal winter. This is more of a time for laying low, taking a rest, taking a break. You are going to hit a lot of roadblocks during this time. My personal winter this year was gnarly. It was not a lot of fun. So sometimes it just means that things slow down, and unfortunately there's not much you can do about it sometimes. You can always ask your spirit guides, your ancestors, or higher power, whoever you work with, for help. But sometimes it just it'd be that way sometimes. What's coming with that delay, though, at the same time is the Queen of Pentacles energy. So you are meant to kind of take stock and inventory in where you are for the moment. That's how I take this anyway, because the Queen of Pentacles is much more of enjoying home, money, which you do have when it comes to work, the things that are going well in those areas, and to enjoy your time with that, enjoy your space, see beauty in your home. So it could also be that whatever it is that is delayed in terms of this card, to notice what's already there, what you already like. That's how I would personally interpret that, is you're maybe not at the beginning stages, you're a little farther along than you think you should be. And which is not a bad thing. And I see that as, because especially since she's so cradling this, it's really like appreciating what you have in terms of that, of home and beauty and wealth and work and all of that. And I feel like enjoying it, whatever that is, however it shows up in your life. What you have as far as the another influence is death in reverse. So this is you. Death is the card for Scorpio. So it's not necessarily, and everyone says it's not really death. It doesn't mean you're going to die. It doesn't mean anything like that. It means change and transformation. In a way, it means something in your life has already died. However, when it's in reverse, that usually means that there's something blocking the change. But since it's also the card for your sign, sometimes it can just mean that you're not necessarily feeling as much in your power or as much as yourself as you would like to. Usually with this, I would say when the death card comes up in reverse, it can often mean that you're blocking a transformation or change. So often that means you know what it is that should change. Like, so why are you resisting it? Change is scary. When is change not scary, honestly? There's a reason why death is scary. It's change. Change is scary. It means it's changing literally everything about you, or what's going on in your life. It's interesting that I never noticed before is there's a hand coming out of the ground right here, like Night of the Living Dead. So I see that as coming back to life. There could be something that's coming back to life in your life right now, and it's a question of, do you want it or not? Whatever it is, it's up to you. I have no idea what it is. Do you want it there or not? Do you want that zombie walking around, or do you want to say, yes, let's bring this thing back, I miss it, or whatever it is? There may be some lesson there with that. Where you are as well is Temperance. This is the card for Sagittarius, interestingly, but this is also about finding your own internal emotional balance. Now, for some reason with this, even though this card is not about it, I'm seeing the light in the dark, that whatever is going on in your life right now, you're actually able to kind of keep your cool and have an even keel with things, which is awesome. And if you're having trouble with that, and then I would say that's some guidance for you, because it is about, but it really feels like there may be a lot of things going on, like the earth is literally shaking beneath you, but you're able to kind of keep your cool, keep your balance. This is usually about internal emotional balance, combining the elements of fire and water as you would like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting like the road may be rocky, but you're remaining optimistic and you're keeping your cool. What else is influencing you is the Three of Cups. This is usually about celebration. I'm hearing keeping your toes on the water. It's interesting because you're a water sign. So there's something about staying in touch with your emotions too, which you might be feeling aplenty, because Mercury is going retrograde in Scorpio on Halloween. So that will mean when it comes to communication and emotions, and since you rule over transformation and change, there could be a lot changing in all of those areas and how they interlink with you in your life. So it makes sense that you actually, this is coming up with the Three of Cups, because the Three of Cups are water, they're emotions, they're feelings. So this is about usually friendship. The number 3 is one of expansion, so expansion of feelings, but it can also be about celebrating with your friends, having a good time with people, enjoying life. So I feel like sometimes this too is just a reminder to have fun. I kind of love when this comes up when it's someone's birthday month, because it's really like reiterating to have fun on your birthday or have fun around your birthday if you can. Take advantage of that lifetime opportunity. Enjoy yourself with others. That's what I'm getting. So as for the near future, you've got the King of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lot going on with you when it comes to home, work, and money. So this may be that you're not feeling as financially successful as you want to be. Again, I feel like this comes back to Queen of Pentacles. Enjoy where you are now. Enjoy what you have now. And maybe even finding ways to build on that, on what you have. If you need to conserve your resources, do so. Because you're not exactly in the point of building, and you're not at the point of culmination. So you're growing, but you're not done, if that makes sense. Let me see if there's any guidance in that for Scorpio. 10 of Swords. There's something coming to an end. So it could also be that I would take it as the decision, whatever's going on is not necessarily a bad thing. This is a natural culmination, a natural ending. You have some money saved away. You may not have as much as you might like, and it may not be quite what you hope for, but there's something that has to end in order for you to get to something better when it comes to that. Sorry. I'm just getting there's something that's going to end that needs to end. Whatever it is, it needs to have an end, maybe even a brutal ending for some things. But it could also be, usually if you've been dragging it out, sometimes the ending is even worse. So I would say whatever it is, usually this is kind of let it die, let it go, whatever it is, that thing is. For the more distant future, you have the King of Cups. Now, since this relates to your element, I usually see this as you're feeling in charge of your emotions. You're feeling strong in your feelings. There, you are the master of your feelings, so to speak, and you're feeling good about that. Which would make sense that that's in the future, because it's probably after your birthday when you're feeling a little bit more like yourself again and not in this weird limbo mode. The Moon in reverse. Now, it's kind of similar to Death in reverse. This is an opportunity to do some introspection if you choose. When it's in reverse, it usually means that you're not doing it for whatever reason. And it could even be that you're not going there because you found an even keel in your balance, emotional balance. And you're like, I want to keep it that way for the moment and for the time being. So maybe we won't do this deep internal subconscious searching. And then what you have is something new. When it comes to work, home, or money, a new Ace of Pentacles is something new. It's usually good news coming up. So it's interesting because I think what they're trying to say is that any of the strife that you're feeling around work, home, or money is going to build into be something else. That there's a thing that has to die that you have to release, to let go of in order to let in the new. And it's a hard one, but it's a lesson I feel that applies to literally everything, is that usually you have to kind of release something and grieve it and mourn it and let it go in order to make in this space for something new. Because otherwise, if it's taking up all of your energy, there is no opportunity for something new to come in. And I feel like for some of you, it could be a new career. It could be a new form of income. It could be a new home, decorating a home, however it applies to you. But it feels like, the thing is, you don't have any anxiety in here. FYI, part of tarot reading is also noticing what's not there, the cards that don't show up. There's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of there's some delay, but also at the same time, you're keeping your even keel. You're heading into mastering your emotions. So, and they're reminding you to have fun. So it feels like for the most part, yes, you're experiencing some delays, but in some ways the worst is over. You're leaving this deceitful, manipulative energy behind. And you may not be quite with the foundation that you want just yet, but you're building toward it. You're working toward it. And transformation will come. You may not be feeling as strong as you like. That you may not be walking through that new doorway just yet, but in the future, on the horizon, you've got something new. So I feel like invite this energy in, of saying, I want these new things. And if you have trouble with, you can always ask whoever you work with, your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, Loa, your higher power, your saints, and say, please help me to release whatever it is, whatever patterns I need to cut, whatever it is I need to go through. And I usually always say, preface this or include in this statement, have it happen in such a way that I can handle, and that if it's for my highest good. Because that way it won't be something that makes you sick or is completely overwhelming, and you can always say mentally, physically, spiritually handle, so it's not too intense, because who knows? When a lot of these things happen, you're talking about things that could relate to past lives, things that could relate to something earlier in this lifetime. So it could be bringing up a lot of things. And Pluto, has been retrograde until October 3rd. It's going direct on the 3rd, and it rules the underworld, death, rebirth. So while it was retrograde, it's been clearing up a lot of old things. And you may have been noticing this. I've personally been noticing it since August. But I forget how long exactly it's been retrograde, but it's been a few months. But usually I find retrogrades are the most intense near the end. So it could be bringing up a lot of patterns for you to look at, especially dynamics. So I would say think back to early, mid-August, and even the last month. Have you had any encounters with people or interactions or dynamics that are just weird or strange or made you feel uncomfortable or made you think a lot, made you reflect? Often those are things that you're meant to kind of clear out, because Pluto, the way it works is it eliminates. It says, we're getting rid of this thing. And really what you're doing isn't allowing something else to come in. So as the embodiment of the death card, I assume for some of you, this will be easier to a certain extent than some others. Also, you are the mafia of the zodiac. So that means you can hold a grudge, but it also means at some point you can, mentally eliminate someone, not literally, but of saying, okay, we're going to clear this out. And then again, I would say just, be wary of your emotions going into this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, because Mercury goes into shadow October 11th. And then it goes retrograde on Halloween. And I think it's retrograde until November 20th. So on Thanksgiving, it'll still be in shadow, which means that if you're making Thanksgiving plans, don't be entirely surprised if things go haywire. Because usually when Mercury is in retrograde, Mercury rules communication. So it means that you can have issues around making plans, signing contracts, starting something new. It doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it sometimes means like triple check something before you sign it. Triple check the paperwork. If you're making plans, double, triple check that everyone knows what to show up, when to show up, where to show up, when, what to bring, all that kind of stuff. Because I've had so many birthdays in Mercury retrograde, and everyone's always like, oh, I didn't realize it was at that time, or I didn't even get your invitation. Oh my God. And this was the first year where I didn't have that happen, and everybody got all the information in time. It was like, oh, wow. So speaking firsthand, it's not always fun. And it's in your sign. So it could be bringing up a lot of things for you, and you may be feeling ultra emotional. So at least my personal advice would be to take care of yourself, listen to your feelings at this time, journal if you need to. I feel like some of you may spend some time kind of even bonding with the moon, as that sounds. But the moon is ruled by the element of water, which is what you are, and also, I forgot, your sign is ruled by the planet Pluto. So this retrograde may have also been especially interesting for you, because you're the sign of death and rebirth, of new beginnings. So with all that said, let's go over what you should know for this month. What should Scorpio know, keep in mind, for the month of October 2019? Okay. Chariot in reverse. Again, this means things are delayed. Forward momentum is delayed. So don't take it personally. It's not your fault. It's simply just happening. You may be feeling a little defensive this month. This is also can be kind of battle weary, I usually see this as you've had the same fight, the same argument with the same person over and over and over again, to the point where you're like, what is it now? What? You're kind of fed up, and that may be making you throwing you off balance a little bit emotionally, where you're not quite in charge of your feelings, and you may have trouble with empathy, and that means it's time to let some stuff go. So the 10 of Wands usually means that you've been holding on to too much. This could be other people's feelings, other people's actual stuff, whatever it is. It usually means that you're carrying so many things to the point that you can't even see. and it's become a burden and it's weighing you down and it's blocking you from seeing things clearly. It could sometimes, like, it's to the point that even when I was studying tarot, it said if this card keeps coming up, it could mean that the person literally can't even see what you're trying to explain to them. So it could be what is literally blocking your view, what is clouding your judgment, what is making it hard for you to see things clearly. So it's funny, this for me has become the Marie Kondo card. What is it that you need to clear and ask what sparks joy, as in what gives you a strong feeling of, I love this. This makes me so happy. I'm so glad to have this in my life. It has personal meaning and value for me. And what doesn't make that cut? Or what are you carrying for other people that causes resentment? You can have a conversation with them if you want. I would say you can also just in your mind let those things go. So as far as this whole overall theme of releasing, I'll just add this. On October 13th, there's a full moon in Aries. It's in a fire sign, so it should be very interesting. It could be pretty powerful. Full moons are a good time to release things. It's a good time to write down everything that you no longer want, whether it's a mindset, a relationship, a dynamic, whatever it is. And I usually will write down I release and then kind of write each individual thing, but you can also say in each one, I release this, I release this. You can be as specific or as vague as you want. Again, I would say please wait before, and then you can burn it. So I'd say before you burn it, you could always say to your guides, I release these things into the universe if it is for my highest good. And I ask that this releasing happens in such a way that I can handle. So that way it's not too much. And, releasing some things before your birthday, I think couldn't hurt, because you're in this limbo period where you're kind of hanging out. You're in your personal winter. Things maybe feel like they're screeching to a halt. You've got this slowdown going on. You're releasing, feeling gratitude. I would say another thing is, since you got this, I'll just say this with this card, is after you do the releasing, or maybe even a part of it, if you say you write down, if for some of you this might be therapeutic, write down all of your resentments. Every single one. Every single thing you resent about yourself, another person. I feel like in a way it's kind of an angry purging, and to let it all out on paper. Do not read it again, burn it. And you can save it, wrap it up in paper, and even crumple it into something else and then burn it on the 13th. One thing I've seen too is that somebody created a box out of paper and then had everyone write their releases in it, and then they just threw the whole box into a fire on the full moon. You can also do something like that if you wanted to do a group activity, because that way then you're not reading everyone's things, because it's best if you write it out to kind of release it. So I feel if you do a resentment list, afterward do a gratitude list, because they're just as powerful. And gratitude actually, it's incredibly powerful because you'll feel it help your sense of happiness and joy and love come through. It really does change your vibration. It changes the way that you feel. I was first exposed to it when I first started going to Al-Anon, and it was incredibly powerful, because a lot of it, you're feeling resentment. You're like, oh my God, this happened. This person didn't listen to me, whatever. And then you start listing all the things that you feel grateful for. And I found being very specific would often help. I noticed right away I would feel better. So I think for some of you, while you're going through this, it might help to do that. And you could even do them side by side. I would keep the gratitude list personally, because I feel like it's always helpful to go back and refer to that and have it, especially if you're ever feeling low or resentful. And even if you don't want to make a resentments list, you can just do a gratitude list and just mention. And again, I recommend being as specific as possible, because for me, that was pretty powerful. And also then you have a little bit more to add. And as you go, I usually find it snowballs. You'll find more things to be grateful for. So, should be an interesting month. I'll just add this again. Remember, you've got some emotional mastery coming for you. So I think things are going to be smoothing out, and you've got some new opportunities coming. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can always email me. I do them in person in Long Beach, over the phone, or in an email, so you can refer to it later. I also do Reiki healings, again, in person or distance, and all the information for those and the rates and everything are in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful month. Happy birthday again. And I will see all of you again next month.